Jill.
Simone, you're blonder.
Summer sun.
And you have a dog.
It's a therapy dog to help cure my narcissism. I was diagnosed in June.
Oh, well, I'm glad you're getting help. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi.
And we haven't met yet. I'm Jill.
Janice.
Janice is bringing an urban perspective to my label. We were just meeting with the fashion editors about my new line. It's very exciting. What brings you here?
I used to work here, actually. An old friend is hiring me for some photo shoots. I'm getting back in the game.
Jill, I'm not even getting an exit interview. They just confiscated my ID.
Can I meet you in the lobby? It'll just take a minute.
Okay.
Yikes. Guys, can you give us a minute?
Sure thing.
So, Brooke, I just wanted to say,
Are you power posing?
No, that's over. It's all about eye contact now.
oh. Well, anyway, I just wanted to say,
Jill.
You and I had a hard moment, but we're family. So I'm taking the high road, and I invite you to join me.
I'm pretty sure that if you say you're taking the high road, you're automatically not on the high road.
Yet somehow I've managed to do both.
You may be on the high road, but I was already on it, and it's like a one-lane thing.
Sweetie, as the Joy Manifesto says, forward is upward. Thanks to Joy, I have manifested an entirely new philosophy. Women need to stick together to demand equal pay, equal rights, equal everything. It's what I am calling shedonism.
You mean feminism.
Ew. No, I wax down there. Guys, I'm gonna have to meet you in the lobby. Janice is such a breath of fresh air. I didn't want my company to be as white as the Upper East Side, you know?
Yeah, but Janice doesn't look...
It's Janice, and I don't see color. I'll see you at drop-off, Jill.
You have to sit next to me, Jill.
Okay.
Thank you guys, ladies, so much for being here.
I
for
love it
having
here. Love the internet.
So let's talk about season 2 of Odd Mom Out. Season 1 really captured the horrors of New York City parenthood. So where do we go with season 2?
Well, in the first episode, which premieres tonight at 10 o'clock.
On Bravo.
Is a big breakthrough. I think mothers create many different finish lines, like you get your kid off a bottle or out of diapers, and a big one is when your youngest kid goes to kindergarten and you have this chunk of time. So that is what the first episode is about. What the hell am I gonna do with myself during the day? So it's about going back to work.
Yeah. And we run into each other at said workplace that Jill goes back to look for a job at. And, you know, after season 1, we left on bad terms, and so we're now confronted with each other. That's what you just said.
That's the big standoff.
And clearly, watching you guys backstage, the animosity on screen totally translates to real life.
I love her so much that, like, we have so much fun on our set, whether it's with KK, who plays Vanessa, or Abby. We're just giggling all the time.
Yeah, Joanna Cassidy, she's awesome.
She's hilarious.
Yeah, it's a great time.
How is Brooke's business going? So, and Brooke, by the way, is an aristocrat.
Yes, she has restored the Von in her name after finding out she's Austrian aristocracy in season 1. So now she's Brooke Von Weber, and Jill's just Jill Weber.
We're regular plain Vons.
So Brooke this season is left broken up, separated from her husband Lex, and she milks him for seed money to start up a company. And that explodes. She becomes a mogul, the next Tory Burch, of course.
A lot of uptown dads, like these master of the universe types on Wall Street with these crazy hedge funds, their wives will kind of filch money to start a fine jewelry company or a handbag company, and they have trunk shows at the Carlisle or the Mark Hotel, and the husbands are more than happy to give them money for these like alligator pelts that they buy, because they're boning their secretaries down on Wall Street, and they are so happy that the wives are distracted with their like little fake company.
I mean, how many jewelry launches have we all been invited to?
Like countless. And they just have a bunch of rich bitches buying each other's shit. Like they're just all swapping so they feel like they had a sale. But it's
Okay, so
They charge them like $5,000.
Oh yeah.
They're
And
friends.
well, some bags, it's $120,000 for a bag if you have one alligator making the whole, like the alligator's butt is on the bottom. You have one contiguous hide.
Wow.
Yeah, that's 6 figures.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I was just going to say, the other thing I always get invited to are the clutches.
Oh yeah, clutch.
Because who needs, I mean, you can never have too many clutches, right?
Yeah, I disagree. I hate clutches.
Oh, no, I
think
do too.
Because you have to clutch it. Anything that's a verb that involves like my energy, I don't want that. I hate clutch.
How much, I mean, you've got kids in real life.
3.
3. How much of your story, your family life, infiltrates the show in terms of storylines?
A lot. I mean, my IRL kids are older than my TV kids. Mine are 13, 10, and 8. And we thought for the show they should be younger because there's just more chaos. And hopefully we'll stay on for years to come to show the teenage drama. But I like having the little ones on the set and really telling their stories too.
And so many of the things that were in season 1 and season 2, I was like, oh my God, how did Jill come up with that? And most of the things, she was like, oh no, that's real. That's a real thing, the colonic and juice place together.
And safety schools for nursery schools and all of it.
Yeah.
Nacho,
Nacho, New Yorkers
talk about-
Against Childhood Obesity.
but the Y is silent.
The Y is silent. Yeah.
That's Brooke's pet
Charity.
charity.
Yeah.
Because everyone must have a charity that they sit on the board of. Duh.
Everyone has a committee. I mean, for me, someone once said like, "Oh, you're poking fun at charities," and really, we're not. It's a satire. I'm poking fun more at people who use philanthropic endeavors to promote themselves socially. And they want their picture taken, and they want a gala, but they never get their hands dirty or darken the doorway of a hospital. They just go to the gala. So that to me is such an Upper East Side annoying thing.
Oh, trust me, I live in Brooklyn. It transcends all boroughs. Like, don't you
Same
worry.
thing.
Like, when I watch the show, I'm like, ding, ding, ding. They just wear different kinds of sweats down there. That's all. And where does Brooke go this season? Does she start dating?
Well, Brooke and Lex are separated. Lex has gone through a transformation. He's, grown his hair out a little.
Man bun.
He has a man bun. He went to Burning Man. He really finds himself, and so he's, desperately trying to get her back. And meanwhile, she couldn't care less. She has this new life. She feels good about being the new Tory Burch, and so we sort of see their relationship evolve and go through highs and lows, and then eventually something happens with them. But you'll have to see.
You'll have to watch. Yeah. What did each of you get out of being on the show? I mean, this is your baby. This was based on your book, Momzilla's. So for you, how does it feel to be on set?
It's so great. I mean, Abby has been, she's the youngest female cast member in the history of Saturday Night Live. She's been in movies and blockbusters and all kinds. Amy Schumer. For me, this is my first acting experience in front of a camera at 40 Wonderful. And so it's really a total switch. So I find it fascinating because I feel like I have my whole life and my husband and my kids and my friends. And then this is just this weird new chapter, but it's almost like dipping my toe in the water. I'm not plunging in. So I always say to Abby, like, well, in your business. And she's like, you're in it too.
Like, you're an actress.
I know, but I feel like not really, because it's not Shakespeare. It's a version of myself. Like, I don't know.
But you're a great actress, and
thank you. But it is. It's just fun, and it feels like this is the kind. Writing for me has always been, you tell the stories that are clawing their way out of you. This was just inside and needed to come out, and so it's cathartic and helped me deal with some of the mommy stuff that we all go through.
And what about you? What do you get out of playing Brooke?
Well, I take out a lot of tension and anxiety. She's a big bitch, and I like playing her. I feel like I've known people like her. I like making fun of those people because they're mean. And meeting Jill, I just knew she had such a vision for the character and for the show, and I just immediately wanted to play Brooke.
Did you guys vibe right away when you met?
Yes, on my end, for sure.
Yeah.
We met in LA. I flew out to meet a bunch of Brooks candidates, and I met Abby, and just right away knew she was my first choice. Like, I'm very difficult because I have a first choice and then it's like second choice. I just was obsessed with both Andy Buckley and with Abby and knew that they were the ones. It's like looking at apartments or, meeting your husband or something.
You just know. You know it when you see it.
You know.
And what about you? What appealed to you about Brooke? Because here you are going with a first-time show. I mean, you're a producer on the show, so.
What appealed to me about Brooke, the character? Well, I mean, it was written in a way that it was really grounded. I mean, although she is this quintessential Upper East Side momzilla, she also tries to be a good person and truly thinks she's a good person, taking Jill under her wing and trying to help her get a job or whatever it is. And so I thought that it was really interesting that there was this cool layer of dimension in this mean girl that I had never really seen before. And it was all in the writing when I read the script.
And I remember when you and I talked last season, you said that for you it was still a work in progress in terms of kind of balancing your life and being on set and trying to figure out how you do all these jobs while still being a parent. Have you gotten a better sense of it?
Yes, that's a great question. I feel like season 1 was a huge adjustment for my husband and my family. Everyone was sort of like, whoa, this isn't what we signed up for. I was a stay-at-home mom for 11 years, and I was writing my novels. When my kids were napping, or I didn't even have a nanny until full-time, until I had my 3rd kid. And it was really hard, but it's honestly harder being at home with kids than working 17-hour days on the set. So it was easier for me working, but for them, they just realized, oh, I'm not here, I'm not taking care of things. So season 2, I feel like they were totally prepared. They knew, okay, I'm going into production, we're gonna have to fend for ourselves. And I feel like they've all gotten more independent, including Harry, my husband.
Your husband. What kind of feedback have you guys gotten from moms? Do you guys get stopped all the time and you're told like, oh my God, this is my life, or I had the same exact experience the other day?
I mean, it's funny, I get stopped as much by like gay men as moms. Like we're so well received in the gay community, and I'm gonna be in the parade on Sunday. I'm so excited. It was the best day of my life last year. But moms too, but also not moms, because ultimately, even though the word mom is in our title, it's not about parenthood, it's about fitting in or keeping up. And that's something that New Yorkers kind of grapple with every day. Even if you're successful in New York, you feel poor. You feel like you don't have all these things. It's like that Madison Avenue complex of everything in front of you.
Totally keeping up with the other person. And dads too. There are a lot of like husbands that watch the show, I think, like tell their wives like
keyhole into their wife's life.
Totally.
What plot point on the show do you think would seem ludicrous to people who don't have experience with parenting and childcare in New York City, but in actual fact completely came from reality?
Well, actually, the cold open in our 3rd episode, which will actually be on demand tonight after the 1st episode premieres, the next 2 will be on demand. And I handed in a draft of the cold open for the 3rd episode to Lara Spots, our executive, and she was like, this is genius, this is brilliant. And I said, I can't take credit. And I said, I didn't write it. And she said, but your name's on it. I said, I took dictation. I didn't write it.
You just recorded a conversation.
I recorded a conversation, basically. Yeah, pickup. I went to get my kid, and everyone's standing there, and all these moms were talking about Hamilton, and I said, yeah, I mean, I haven't seen it. And they're like, what? You haven't seen it? And then 3 other people turned, they're like, I'm sorry, did you just say you haven't seen Hamilton? Aren't you Miss New York? Aren't you Miss Writer Pop Culture? I was like, yeah, I haven't seen it. And I got like attacked. And people were like, my kids have seen it 4 times. My housekeeper's seen it twice. Like, are you under a rock? What's wrong with you? I was like, I'm sorry, they're $1,000. So, and I took a completely real scenario and just turned it up a tiny bit for the show, where they turn into these zombies who are like, you have to see it, you have to see it, you have to see it, you have to see it. And they all like close in on me while I shrivel up and die. But it wasn't that exaggerated. Like, that fully happened with 30 people screaming at me. It was so weird. I've since seen it, and now I'm a cult member. So now I'm one of those people.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen
You
it.
have to see it. You have to see it. You have to see it.
Don't shame me on Twitter. I haven't
I'm
seen
not.
it.
I'm not. I'm not.
Do you guys find yourselves always filing things away when you see something insane?
Yes. I have a file in my iPhone now. People always give me little notebooks, but I'm like, this isn't Lois Lane time. Like, I'll just use my phone.
Totally. Yeah, I take notes on my phone.
Like when you overhear completely crazy conversations and you're like, this belongs on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a lot of that later in the season. You'll see.
So do you,
Oh, yes, the end of the world
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Just a lot of rich people that I've come into contact with have the most, it's like rich people fears about like Ebola outbreaks or zombie apocalypse or Zika virus. And so they're like,
right.
we have just bought a townhouse between
Yeah.
5th and Madison, and we spent $2 million on a safe room with enough food and water for 2 years,
They'll
and a
have
kit where you
hazmat
can
suits.
drink your own pee. And they have inflatable life rafts that you can get on a raft off East End Avenue and float to safety. But they just have the luxury of stressing about this shit, whereas everybody
Right.
else is like, thanks, I'm just trying to pay my
Yeah.
kids' bills and all, it's like insane but hilarious.
it's like
and
you
real.
You just get like mosquito repellent if you're that worried about Zika virus, right?
Yeah, no, they have like, human pod suits they're sleeping in. Who knows? But they have all kinds of radioactive iodine shots. If there's a nuke in Union Square, they'll be fine uptown if you take these shots.
But then it's the end of the world when kale is declassified as a superfruit.
Yeah,
Superfood.
then they're screaming, going shit house.
You guys, this is like, what do women tell you about the show?
They
When they
love
when
it.
they
I
stop
mean,
you?
A lot of people say just thank you because it makes me feel less of a freak to have another fish out of water depicted in television where they're all these like perfect blonde tits on sticks mom bots who have all the grapes cut up perfectly and all the organic seed to anus locavore food, and I'm just like cracking a Gerber bottle, but you
Get
feel
a lot of
judged.
nasty looks, I think.
No, everyone knows you're hilarious. And
Oh my God, you don't get nasty looks. You're funny as hell.
Well, because I'm Brooke on the show.
Yeah, but they know you're acting.
Well,
they do know you're acting, right?
Yes.
I hope so.
Of course they do.
It's like that time on the playground when I literally overheard one mom. So one of the kids on the playground, the dad was taking him home to feed him lunch, and the mom says to the dad, "Don't forget, honey, kale burgers are his favorite." And I was like, I just wanted to turn around and be like, first of all, kale burgers are no one's favorite.
No one's.
And second of all, here's my bag of Twizzlers.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, if I ever pulled out something like that at school, people would like go ape shit. They're so into their celery sticks, and it's just done a certain way. And there's a lot of judgment, which sucks. But we try to just go to the funny parts of it.
That's what I love about your show is that you guys really mock the whole the judgment police, the mommy morality police.
Yeah.
That I think, I mean, I only have had a kid in New York. I don't know if it's the case everywhere. I suspect it probably is. But you guys really take a nice, sharp look at it.
Oh yeah, I think Julie Rottenberg and Elisa Zaritsky, our showrunners, who are on Sex and the City, they are in Brooklyn and they have another perspective, and they have a different set of rules and a different set. Upper East Side, maybe people are into schools or whatever, but they have a lot of that organic pressure, and people breastfeed their 5-year-olds, and there's all kinds of propaganda that everybody sends to each other. But
There's a right way.
yeah, I think no matter where you live, though, I mean, you could be in Texas and you're trying to get on the cheerleading squad, or you're trying to get your 6-year-old on an ice hockey team. Like the metric shifts from location to location, but I think it's relatable wherever you are.
And what do each of you get out of working with the other? Since
you're
basically
I got like
playing
a
sisters.
lesson. I was watching Abby on Saturday Night Live. I feel like for years when she was on it, but I always loved her. I always loved her as an actress. But then when we met in person, I realized, because I wanted to make sure everybody I met with, I knew I was drawn to their talent, but I knew I liked her as a person. And I feel like I get how to be funny, how to act, how to, I just learned so much by watching her, but also she's so kind and cool and chill and the anti-diva.
Jill is like a book. She can just recite a book. She has so much in her head, and she's such a good storyteller. And I think that was so, attractive to me at first. You're so attractive. But also, you're a great person and a great mother and role model. And I totally look up to you and what you're doing with the show and exposing this part of your world.
And Abby's about to get married. This is how good of an actress.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
She's such a good actress that in the show she has 4 kids and she's starting her marriage life. But it's actually great for me because I have a teenager and Abby's actually right in the middle of my daughter and me. And she's somebody for my kid to really look up to. Like my teenager worships Abby. So it's nice because as a mom, you want to have other women in your life who are role models for your kids because moms they're never going to go to you first. They like the younger ones.
And what's your favorite Brooke characteristic?
Well, she really is trying to be a good person. And in this next season, you'll see that she is empowered because of her recent split from Lex. And even though she is milking him for money and taking his money to start her company,
She does have a lot of money to milk, though.
Exactly. Yeah. What are you gonna do? You got it.
Like you're taking blood from a turnip here.
Right. So, she's an empowered woman this season, and she really starts to like working. And I like that about her.
Where do you guys want to see this go in season 3?
I'm dying to get to at least season 5 so I can do the bar mitzvah year because I just went through it. There's so much material. I'm dying. I'm like bursting to get there.
Because your daughter just had her bat
she just
mitzvah.
had her bat mitzvah, and it's just fascinating to see what people do.
I can't wait for
She
that
went to one
episode.
with Ariana Grande at it. Yeah, in the Natural History Museum, like under that giant dead whale. It was crazy.
I don't even know what to say to that.
Yeah, it's
How do you? I
horrifying.
mean, if you start that off at 13, where do you go from
Where
there?
do you go? That's what I said to her. I'm like, these people are like, you give Jews a bad name. But she understood that we had to be chill and not obnoxious. And there are a billion kids who woke up on a dirt floor this morning. So let's have some values. But I got to get there. Season 3, I feel like there's so much for my character's career and Brooke's career to see where they go, how they dovetail. I think there's just so many stories.
Because your character for sure is going back to work, right? Because the first episode kind of left it.
Trying to, but there's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 1 step forward, 3 steps back. It's really real. A lot of moms who take a gap to raise their kids and try to re-enter the workforce are like, here I am, play the Working Girl soundtrack. And then they're like, oh, wait, I'm 10 years older than everybody. I don't know what the hell new media is or how this works.
What is this crazy
you're
Twitter
at square
thing?
one. Yeah. So it's not as easy for my character as it is for Brooke with the seed money.
And now to our audience, please.
Hey,
Hi.
thanks for being here. For each of you, what's the most enjoyable aspect of filming in New York City?
I love it here. I'm a born and bred New Yorker. I have SPD, suburban panic disorder, and we're going to LA tomorrow to do Kimmel, and I'm actually really uncomfortable in LA. I don't even know how to drive, and I'm 41. So this is where it's at. I don't have a country house. This is my habitat. So being in my town, being able to capture a slice of New York is so exciting. And our set is at Broadway stages in Greenpoint in Brooklyn, and I feel like I've gotten to know Greenpoint really well now, and I just love my city. I couldn't live anywhere else, so it's the best.
Yeah, I think to be here in New York, I'm the same. I was born in New York City, and I love it so much. I love being here. I love being out on the streets and having people like walk into the shot and get yelled at and screw up a take or whatever. And I just like it so much more than being on a soundstage in LA with recycled air.
Or Vancouver masquerading as New York, the other favorite.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
Abby's dad.
Like a bank sign falling, like New York City Bank falling down in the background. I don't know why that would be.
Next question, please.
Hey, you two. I'm loving the Upper East Side mom stories. So true. My question's for Abby. How is the environment working on Odd Mom Out different from your time on SNL?
It's really different. I mean, it's exactly what I want to be doing, which is comedic acting as opposed to sketch comedy. I really liked doing sketch comedy and big, broad characters, but I feel a lot more comfortable, playing something real or playing, just really acting and trying to find one character and focusing on one character as opposed to a bevy of different, crazy people.
And we have time for one more question, please.
Hello, ladies.
Hi.
My question's for Jill. You were talking a little bit about the crazy things that you heard in the park with other moms. I just wanted to know, what was the most craziest thing you ever heard moms talk about, and has it ever made you feel like a bad parent?
Yes. I was telling all the time, I've heard so many crazy stories, but I feel like I got mom shamed because I bottle fed my kids, and nursing just wasn't for me, and everyone is nursing right now. So a lot of people started spewing facts at me about how breast milk wards off special diseases.
They have allergies.
Yeah, and that my kids are going to be like morons who have every allergy and
1,000 ear infections.
Yeah, and I said, well, I was bottle fed and I have a high IQ and I actually never get sick. I have like reverse AIDS. And everyone's saying it makes you healthier and all this stuff. And one mom at one point grabbed my boob and was like, shame on you for not nursing. And it was so weird. And I had like really bad postpartum for about 3 weeks with it was my second child. And I walked around the corner with the stroller and I burst into tears. Like I was bawling and I felt like I was attacked by these people in the playground because I was bottle feeding my kids. I was like, why is their nourishment your concern? But that's a big one. That's like a super hot button issue.
Yeah.
Vaccinations being another one.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So when is the show back?
Tonight at 10 o'clock, 9 Central. Woo! And again, once it airs, the next 2 will be available on demand.
Thank you, ladies, so much for
Thank
being
you,
here.
Donna. You roll.